Hey everyone, my name is Kabi and today I'm going to show you and record for you the first battle since the vibe we've applied to all the players' accounts to make a final testing, a final dressing rehearsal before the release. And so now the players are going throughout all the leagues, starting in the Novice League, opening all the units and heroes as they go, and so we will witness a bit different game from what we've been watching throughout the past year, the last year, because here the players don't even own all the stuff we've used to and they used to, and that pretty much means that they will be limited in the tools to use against each other. So we're gonna watch and probably we're gonna learn something, because there is, as we already noticed, there is some uncertainty among the players, and not everyone really understands how can they finish the game in the first place when they have so little amount of units and so little amount of tools, such as no siege units. We probably will address it with adding siege units on the earlier phase of the game. We are looking into this right now, but this is still yet to come. And we are here in the game right now, so probably we are gonna learn something from the strong players we witness playing against each other right now. So in the top left corner appears White Unicorn, one of the devs team, my fellow community manager, and also one of the strongest player among the community, the winner of one of the community tournaments too. And in the other corner is the blue dark player. We will call him just Igor. His number stands for I'm not sure what exactly, but he also adds that. And his letters in front of his name means the clan he's gonna have once we're gonna add the clans. But so far, guys just hang out together. And he's sort of a clan leader. And Igor also once ended up being third in the tournament, if I remember correctly. So he's quite a good player. So we see that he starts from a semi-proxy workshop. So this workshop being hidden a little, just a bit outside of the base. Like if White Unicorn would be scouting lazily with just one unit, seeing what's up and going back, he would probably end up thinking that it is just an Alchemist Goon strategy. Well, in fact, it is not one workshop, but actually two workshop strategy. And I believe that with this strategy, Igor is never gonna have enough lumber to be able to supply Alchemist. So actually, the Altar of Heroes is a building he doesn't really need, but that is probably for the tricking purpose. It is also funny how Unique misses the fact that he's been attacked with the Goon. I believe that players forgot how it happens, because nobody really goes for the worker, because everyone knows that it is impossible to kill a worker once we added a possibility for them to go through the buildings where a normal unit can't pursue them. So players don't even pay attention, and it's why you can actually benefit from this and in fact kill the worker if your opponent doesn't pay attention to that. So what Igor in his turn does not pay attention to is the chests. The both of the early chests was grabbed by White Unicorn, which is obviously not the greatest call out of the blue player. And also we see that Unicorn goes to Workshop Aeronauts 2, and now that we are back in this phase of the account's progression, we can recall how many players used to play this strategy, at least those who participated that early in the testing phase can recall that. And the others can just learn that now from me, that in the first stage of testing, where we were also going from the novice league and then all the way up to the captain. So players used to play this stuff a lot. The two workshops, mass aeronauts. Back then we also didn't divide the scrolls, so the dark players had gravity at their hands, so they could use gravity bombers against aeronauts. So they would gravity aeronauts and connect a bomber to it. There was also a funny bug where bombers could not really connect sometimes, where they thought that aeronauts were moving, but we fixed that issue anyway, so it's not there anymore. So it would be fine now, but you would need a light teammate into the tour at least to be able to use it now. Alright, now a fancy idea out of Igor, who actually was able to squeeze one bomber through. Unicorn probably wasn't looking. And not the greatest call, because this bomber can connect to the farm, but big stay actually for the dark player.
Forces are under attack.
As we can see, not enough damage. Obviously, there are no fancy equipment sets so far, so not the greatest damage done by the bomber. And in the meantime, Unic kinda tries to push his enemy to the base. It is funny how already 7 minutes 30 was played, and in the second phase of testing we would see a lot of action by this timing, but obviously resource income is much lower now in the first levels, so the pace of the game is really slower, and that's not even a bad thing, because when the new players come to the game, it is even better for them to slow everything down a little bit and have enough time to think about it and consider things that's happening around.
The point is captured.
And as the time goes and they play more games and they progress and they anticipate more things correctly, the game also speeds up. So that's something I really like about our progression system. Obviously, in the first place, it is done as a monetization tool. We are not hiding that. It is just obvious. But at the same time, we can tell, like, this serves as a bad thing for a regular player, right? Because we all would get everything for free and stuff like that. But as a progression tool and
the point is captured.
A tool for the newcomers to adapt to the game, in that regard, I really think that is a nice system. And no other RTS, PC RTS really offer that. Because once you start, you already go you play the same game as the best players in the world, apart from probably some campaign missions that can be played on the different speed. But anyways, we can see how Igor went out to capture both the watchtowers, and that will give him a bit of activity points if the game will last 1 hour. That can be handy. But Unicorn already recaptured one of them, and probably will also pay attention to the other soon. But now the more important task is the 10th minute mark chests. But at the same time, Unicorn goes to offend his opponent. It is interesting that he went Chieftain, even though he generally plays the Alchemist branch. Probably he doesn't actually have the Alchemist. There is the simple answer to it. Well, actually White Unicorn wins this trade, but he can't really break the defense because of the towers. Eager built 2 towers in the enemy space. So now the Chieftain tries to finish off the Alchemist. And he probably will even be able to make it, because Chieftain seems to deal bigger damage. Maybe White Unicorn received and bought that offer where a Chieftain can get a green equipment set, I'm not sure. It can differ a bit, because different players take different strategies on their own wheel, and also depending on what offer they get. But anyway, they end up losing both heroes. So Chieftain dead to the Napalm Tower, and the Alchemist dead to the Unicorn's Sharp-Torn Scroll. And in the meantime, Unicorn decided to tower up his opponent with his defensive structures. And I actually think that's a great stuff to do in such scenarios where it's not really easy to break the other players through. And you can use this tower, and if they try to leave the base, they will have to defend your position under your towers and receive damage. And also, if you place everything here, it means that everything that's behind is actually yours for free. So you just sort of phase out all the map from the enemy, but there is also the other direction, and it seems that Igor has another idea about those bombers, and I believe that he's about to destroy the rats and probably try to sneakily take this base.
Collected.
I think I never saw anyone to destroy the rats with a bomber, actually. It is just such a weird thing to do, but why not? And now we can see bomber killing the bomber, and then the bomber killing the bomber. Nice stuff to see. I found it hard, it's hard to find how Kurt Cobain used to sing. So it seems that in the meantime Igor decided to destroy all the 3 towers, and that's really unlucky evidence for White Unicorn, because those towers are quite expensive. In the meantime, though, Igor loses both of his workshops, and they cost quite a bit as well. So it is even about an equal trade, actually. Because remember that when you build a second production building, it's more expensive. It's worth more. Twice more, actually. And it's twice more every time. This is why you want to diverse your production. You can really diverse it different ways. We can see here how Unicorn built 2 racks and 2 workshops, and also the Dark Gate. And of course the Altar of Heroes. You don't really need to mention Altar of Heroes unless you skip that. If you skip that, you need to mention it when you describe a build order. But if you have it, it's just normal. So I don't really count Altar of Heroes as a production building usually, but it is sort of just an asterisk to the line. And if we count it out, it is 5 production building. And still, White Unicorn is quite high on money that I don't really like for this game. But honestly, when he shared it with me, he told like, well, you know, this game was a bit lazy, but it is probably still worth watching.
The point is captured.
So now we see how it's lazy. Actually, the 3rd barracks. I'm not sure what is this all about, but I believe it is in the first place just about an ability to even spend the money he collected. Probably Igor was a bit late with using his Circle of Power scroll,
Resources collected.
because some of his units were already very exposed by that time. But anyways,
Forces are under attack.
he loses everything.
Base is under
For a
attack.
split second I thought that it was Igor's Grok, I'm not sure why. And in the meantime, Unicorn
The point is
decided
captured.
to move his tower line to the top side of this base. And why is that? It's because here there is a high ground that Bomber is passing right now. And here high ground is much further. So it is really much more handy to engage from this direction. I didn't know that Bomber one-shot the tower actually. I think it is only the anti-air tower. But still not the greatest stuff to lose the towers like that, but Unicorn didn't have any units
Forces
next
are
to
under
it,
attack.
so can't wonder. And in the meantime, both of the players decided to also go for the second bases. And what
Base
for
is under
Unicorn
attack.
it is entirely understandable. It seems that Igor's Skeleton Archer is a bit stronger and a bit luckier probably too, because we saw the crit. So Unicorn just wanted to realize his better position. And what is his better position about is that he took all the chests so far. So probably apart from Rod, but I think he actually got all of them. So he really has more resources to work with, and it is his advantage. So he wants to stabilize on that by adding a lot of production building and also the second base. And in the meantime, Igor
Forces are under
also
attack.
adds the second base, which is a bit of a gamble from my perspective. But it is interesting how Unicorn, he destroyed it once, right? But he didn't destroy. He destroyed the workshops.
Hero
I
is
think he
dead.
didn't destroy the citadel. Probably he doesn't know about it, because it doesn't make any sense. Come on, I am just pressing the player and walling him off with the towers. In which universe he would ever build a citadel behind this position? It is
Forces are under
entirely
attack.
unsafe, right? So no way anyone will build a base here. It is what any normal player would think. And so does Unicorn, I believe. And this is why he doesn't even check on
The point is
Igor,
captured.
just benefit from it. Well, he's still lagging far behind in resources, and we can see how Unicorn builds bombers as well as the skeleton archers. Last time I was playing the similar scenario, I ended up doing exactly the same stuff. 3 racks mixing the bombers with the skeleton archers, so I'm glad to see that the stronger player ends up doing the same stuff. Bomber was killed, so this is why the tower didn't go down this time, I believe. Or maybe he just didn't quit. But I think that the bomber was killed approaching to that position. And here White Unicorn tries to engage from different directions, but it seems that he didn't even notice those skeleton archers. They don't engage on the correct towers. But here Aeronaut was saved last moment, but Igor really needs to repair it, I'd say. And
Forces are under
Unicorn
attack.
keeps
Chest
reinforcing
found.
to this position. This time around he
Base
gives
is
away
under
the
attack.
chest. Not the greatest call.
Resources collected.
And also still did not find, still has not found this position. which isn't great either, obviously. Once again, the bomber trait, also the worker go down. And, well, actually Igor
Forces are under attack.
is much more crisp with his bombers control
Make a diversion.
throughout this game. It seems that the players really make use of bombers. And why not? Because right now it is really hard to actually break
Bomber here.
the base. It is a known issue, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video. I already tried to address it, but anyway, right now we live in this universe, and one of the greatest tools
Make a diversion.
to care about this is the bombers. The greatest thing on the light side is obviously Bombardier, but the problem is that you don't get Bombardier by default. You need to either buy it in the pack or probably you will be lucky enough to just randomly get it from the chest, because if you get just one card right now, you will open it. This system may change in the future, but anyway, you will still be able to open anything just randomly by just playing the game, so sooner or later you will get anything and everything, even if you don't donate a penny. So anyway, not every light player get the Bombardier,
Hero was
but
killed.
every dark player have bombers, at least if they finish the
Base is
single
under
player
attack.
campaign. So in this regard is a bit more easier to understand how to break this as a dark player. Probably it is the reason why those two players play dark, even though
Hero is dead.
now we see the statistics that generally more players prefer light. More games
Just
are
found.
played as light. But it actually always has been like this, probably because we have
Forces are
the
under
starting
attack.
campaign chapter for light only. So it creates
Resources
this kind
collected.
of diversity, or what we call it. Well, probably Igor shouldn't lose the aeronauts like that. With this income, he is already 3k up on resources, and he doesn't really spend the money all too great. Which again can't wonder. Oh, Unicorn decided to go for the Citadel. That is now a bold decision. It doesn't seem that he can apply enough damage, but he also destroy a couple of buildings in the meantime. Tries to actually finish off the Citadel with the skeleton archers, but damage is not enough, and also Chieftain comes in, and
Make a diversion.
the Varg Riders suddenly. Varg Riders, as well as the Knights, really work very good in this game stage. By this game stage I mean just all the accounts phase where players often don't have all the units open. Igor continues to trade his bombers. It is not always that profitable for him, because Unicorn has way more production. He has 3 racks and 2 workshops, and also the Dark Gate that he doesn't use. And it is kind of okay, because there are no many units that can actually leave skeletons for the Necromancer to
Just
work
found.
with. And you don't want to have this unit just for the attack and debuff. Anyway, the primary goal of the Necromancer is to raise up the skeletons, and the skeleton archer would not leave any skeleton, as well as the bomber, as well as the hero, so the only towers that can actually leave the skeleton here are the Varg riders. And actually the workers too.
Forces are under
So Igor just checked if Unicorn
attack. Base is under attack.
got this mana well in the process. Sees that Unicorn has not. And once again a couple of buildings have been destroyed. Unicorn didn't want to go for the units with his bomber. He wanted to save it for the citadel, and now Igor tried to block and defend citadel with the other two buildings. It did work, but the buildings were destroyed again. But Igor ends up defending from this successfully, and the chieftain was even trapped here inside the enemy's building, so the chieftain is about to go down apparently. Not the greatest deal for Unicorn in terms of resources, but by this minute of the game I really wish him finding this, because it starts being a bit absurd, because Unicorn has way more units. But the problem here is that he kills all those units off the towers, and that means that activity system counts every single unit and his price and food. So if in the very end Unicorn will lose way more units, but at the same time he controls the watchtower most of the time, but he doesn't control the mana well, so he will be behind in units, above in the spots. Chests do not count as well as the gold, so who will be on top on activity? He also keeps losing heroes and also buildings. He kills a few buildings, but he also loses the towers that are buildings. So I'm not exactly sure who is even leading in activity. So the activity is not about running around the map. It is about the particular counters, and I mentioned all of them. And it is not that certain to me who's even winning. So Unicorn really wants to find out about it badly. But he doesn't check. So make a mark to yourself. Always check. Just in case. Because you have time. Sort of just take one freaking skeleton and send him to go all over the map. Like a StarCraft 2 Pro would send a Zerling or a Zealot or wherever. A Marine. Just to go all around the map to check, because it sometimes happens that there is a stupid base in the corner. We don't have that many bases in the corner in War Legends, so it is even easier. Just check one position. So, anyways, an interesting move we have. So Igor decided to take all of his army and go to a counter-attack. And that very second, Unicorn realizes that the enemy's base is unprotected. So he destroyed it at our Dark Magic, but he builds it again. And he probably wants to build it even closer. I'm not sure. He destroyed it all three. Maybe he's gonna go for all three and back in the base. But anyways, Igor walled off his tower with the sawmills, and because of that the Varg riders are not being able to attack this. Of course, eventually it still goes down, but Igor won a lot of time that allows the other towers to deal the damage to, and at the same time Igor engages to the Unicorn's base. And Unicorn decided to build an Napalm tower just next to this base. to probably be able to just help engaging with it. So it seems to me like White Unicorn is killing the base faster, because he has the skeleton archers and they are better in dealing damage to the buildings, because War Riders has a penalty to the buildings, as well as the knights and the fox riders, because otherwise the cavalry strike to the buildings would be overpowered. So there is a penalty. The Unicorn built all of his towers here. So probably he doesn't only think about killing the buildings, but also about a base trade and a base race, because those are the buildings. As we already mentioned before, the towers are the buildings, so that means that while you still have towers, you will not be eliminated. Igor tries to build at least something, while he still has farms and production buildings. And he also rehired the worker amount. He has quite a bit of money actually. Because he lost production, his money continued to flow, so he's now floating up 9.7k. And Unicorn builds a citadel here actually, and there is still even enough gold. So Chieftain's still here. Mana tower goes down. Igor received an alchemist reinforcement, and at the same time Igor is about to engage this army from the two sides, along with the alchemist it seems. The skeleton archer is still in the under-obelisk tower, probably too far now, so won't be resurrected for free. Oh, it was! Nice thing for Igor. So actually not a bad trade, but still Unicorn wins this fight. Also because of the towers. So Igor doesn't really want to show his face just yet, but he already built the 2 racks. He also not supply capped, so he really needs to order something here, and so he does. And in the meantime, Unicorn really needs to destroy the race buildings. And what Igor does about that, he queues as many units as he can right now, just to use the time while he still had that goblin left. As we can see, the bombers queued mostly. I wouldn't mind another building, but Igor didn't have a citadel too, so he couldn't really add another aeronaut, for example. And what about Necromancer? It also requires citadel too, but also he doesn't really need that. So actually that gold mine is already depleted. So only the gold mines in the base are what still matters. And this is why Igor really needs to attack now, because if he delays it even more, that will just mean that Unicorn will benefit even more from Igor's own mine. But it seems that the alchemist goes down, and Unicorn can even rebuild the citadel back in his base. Igor still have money though.
Make a diversion?
He has a lot of gold, and he has workers to cut the trees. So even though he is out of any gold income right now,
Base is under attack.
right now he's fine, and he wanna try to just go for the citadel probably. Alright, it seems that initially he wanted to kill the towers and the citadel. And then he decided to just go for the lower numbers. And interestingly, Unicorn has enough gold but not enough wood to build another citadel, but he has sawmills,
Forces are under attack.
so he can actually mine wood. Because you don't need a citadel, sawmill does the trick. So he will get 700 to be able to rebuild a citadel. And here Igor already got a goblin lab, so he can build the bombers once again to take down the citadel once again. But he needs info when and where Unicorn will start it. So Igor tries to check it with the Varg if it's been built here, and he sees that Unicorn does not build it there. And what about Unicorn? He goes to attack this base with the chieftain and with the goons and a couple of other units. But other players obtained one chest for each.
Forces are under attack.
And it seems that this... Well, actually this alchemist can be some... All Igor needs to do is just to repair this ultra heroes. But so far Unicorn doesn't even attack this, so probably not exactly right to address this issue because it doesn't really exist. But it starts to exist. And Unicorn decided not to go for the Elder of Heroes still. I'm not sure if he had the version where he saw an animation. Probably he should have seen that, but you also need to learn to pay attention to things like this. We recently added the animation to Elder of Heroes, so you can actually see when an enemy summons something. So that means that you probably wanna focus it down, so that the hero never goes out, never comes out. So anyway, this alchemist been nicely captured and surrounded and killed. Igor was unable to use the alchemist ability, and it seems that at this point Unicorn gonna use all of his
Base is
gold,
under attack.
but he even rebuilt a citadel to actually spam his enemy with the goons. And Igor still even have the money,
Resources collected.
but he doesn't have enough production to match what Unicorn is producing right now. So Igor is clearly going to lose this game, but he really did a great job, in my opinion, with the bombers throughout all the course of the game, and that counterattack was nice, and the sneaky base was super effective, and I believe that he really had an idea, it was working good. Probably he did a couple of mistakes, but generally I really like this game, and I also like how Unicorn showed us the way to actually break it, to phase out the enemy from the biggest part of the map by using the structures next to the other guy's base, then getting the chests, adding more production. It is now 4 barracks already.
Base is under attack.
And just being cautious, and of course if he just checked this base, the game would be ended way sooner. But anyways, we're gonna wrap it now, so let us know in the comments if you have any troubles finishing the game, or you just casually stomp everyone on ladder. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.